what he's done for me. Never forget what he's done for me.
You cannot be absent from his presence and keep up with his progression. So I get the example of the Apple phone, right? If I miss,
I said unplugged.
Unplug.
Right.
Okay.
Which I spent a lot of time in between the word absence and unplugged. And God was like, the word is unplugged because I am there.
Right.
But you have to plug in. And so it's like it's not like I left.
That's so funny. You got me on Apple, reminding me of the that new Apple commercial, the iPhone commercial.
Yeah.
You seen it? Where the outlet is singing? Y'all seen the Apple commercial where the outlet is singing? Because they got the new battery.
Oh.
And it doesn't need to be plugged in.
Yeah.
So as the outlet is like, I miss you.
Wow, that's dope. I haven't seen it.
Dang, it's nice.
Yeah.
I miss you because you ain't been plugged in.
But I definitely want us to protect the fact that like God is with you.
Right. Yeah.
But if you don't tap into him being with you, you aren't actually drawing towards him.
Yeah.
Right. And just wanting to make sure you have to draw near to him and he draw near to you. That's the only thing I'm just trying to make sure that's in. So it's like, yo, like you've unplugged.
He was still there.
He's still there. You unplugged.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the outlet, like you said, the outlet's still there. You unplugged, but it's still there. And if you've unplugged, then you have not kept up. And this is big, man. Like this is all happening. I'm gonna say some things. I haven't. So I have like remember we said we're going. Like we look at the year and say, God, what do you want us to do? What do you need us to do? There's two things. There's three things that's happening faster than I imagined. You know, so it's like I take the notes. Okay, God, I shared two of them at the leadership summit that we had, and one of them was that there would be a reintroduction to holiness. You know, I said that's going to come this year. I didn't realize it was going to be the first thing up. That's where we are. Second thing God told me is they're going to get to points where he'll share things that if you haven't been spending time with him, even if you're saved, it'll sound foreign.
Yeah.
Like he wants to take us to a deeper level, but if you're not spending time with God, it will sound foreign. The Bible tells us that you will have to judge the spirit by the spirit, whether it be of God. There's going to come a point to where you're going to have to be spiritually aware to understand what God is doing. The third thing, it's wild, but he said it to me. I haven't said this one out loud yet, but I'm about to say it out loud now.
Here we go.
Because we're here. And I was just like trying to like digest it. But now I'm seeing it more clear. But here's what he told me. He said, we're going to have to live as though his return is near.
Yeah.
And he said, we're going to have to live as though the return is near. And I said, man, God, of course, my first thought is, you gotta understand, like, I grew up,
right,
like in the church where it's like, talk about trauma, right? I grew up where it was like, yo, he can come back, right? Like literally, no, not any day, like, don't leave this room.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I've been in church services where you can, like, literally, you can get in an accident when you leave here. I was in I was in a church service one time, and I'm gonna say it, where the pastor prayed for anybody who was planning on doing any like I'm gonna say unmarried sexual acts. He prayed that they stuff wouldn't work. Like he literally from like, so this is what I grew up hearing, right? Like I was like, dang, like this is what I grew up with, though, right? I was like, dang, like. I was in a service once. This is a youth service. I was in a service once, and the garbage can was brought out to the front of the stage.
Yeah,
and it was said from the pulpit that if you didn't put your contraband into this garbage can, that tonight Satan could visit you and you lose your life. When I tell you that garbage can was full, like it'll blow your mind. We're at a Christian youth event, and it was filled. I'm saying, like, that day, it was like, man, then you had to look at it and realize there was a lot of people planning to do some real things up in here, boss. Like,
and we got it out. It's out now.
I'm finna clear
It's
the
out
room.
now.
Like I'm telling you, like it was full, boss.
Yeah.
So I've seen and been in those moments.
I got you.
To where it's like, whoa, whoa, you know, like say it could just be
I got you.
my trauma, right? Of like,
So
whoa.
I hear you talking about a new type of urgency.
Yeah, and that's what I realized is that God is birthing. How long have we been here?
I believe it's been about 30 minutes.
Okay.
But if we're doing for Tuesday and Thursday, I think we're good.
Okay.
And I'm sure the people back there will let us know when our time is up. Trust
All
me.
right, cool.
So just a new urgency, and because I'm putting this next to the point that if you haven't spent that time with God, you can be hearing things that you think are foreign, because it reminds me of, remember what we used to say, Pastor Poe would say, man, the train is leaving the station, and some folks going to be on it, waving back at people still on the platform, and I didn't. That wasn't a statement of like we leaving people. That was a statement of like there is a progression.
Yeah.
And folks who are abiding, spending the time, gonna be with the progression.
Yeah.
Huh?
But absolutely. And there's just one thing I do want to that I can hear him laughing back there. I don't know what that means. We done or not. I don't know. But I'm gonna do one more subject.
You got it. Yeah.
Then I'm out.
Okay.
The because it's so big, right? That we talked about on Sunday. It's understanding the patience of God.
Right.
Is understanding that you know, a lot of people have interpreted what things as though God is okay with something, when the truth of the matter is not that He's okay. He's being patient for our sake.
Yeah.
And this changes like your posture. It starts to work in the reverence of God. It starts to work in a holy fear of God, which we're going to start talking about. But it's like you got to understand, it's not that He's okay. You know, this I feel like many people have started or have misinterpreted God to be okay with things that He's just been patient about. And if you don't get that balanced, you'll find yourself dishonoring God, living a life that's not pleasing to God, because you think that He's okay with things He's just been patient with. You know, the example I like to think about is almost like, just imagine, you know, I think we've all been in a room to where like we were like behaving one way, not in the way that we knew we should be. And then we like turned around and seen our parents standing in the back of the room. And without a word being said, like we immediately changed like everything about what we were doing once we realized they were like actually in the room.
Yeah.
Because we knew like it's not that you were okay, but what we're hoping is if I change my behavior, you know, because you're still here, then like you'll extend some grace. And you would be patient about something that I know you're not okay with. And I would say like almost give yourself that same picture. It's not that God is okay with things. He's been like that parent in the room that's just being patient. You know, just, man, I'm extending grace. And of course, the Bible talks about not frustrating grace. You know, that's you looking back at your parents and now like continuing to behave the same way, like, oh, I'm going to try you. And then your parent kind of like, man, I'm really just trying not to embarrass you in front of your friends, man. I'm just really trying to give you, the Bible says, space and time. Like I don't want it to go down like this. Like and
That's good.
like that has been God's posture. It's been his posture, but it's time for us to live as though the time is near. Not in a fearful way, but in a way of reverence that says, like, God, like, you weren't lying about there being a day of judgment coming. You're being patient for our sake, wishing that none that perish. You weren't. Right. It's almost like because we heard the conversations. That's what I mean by my child growing up. Because we heard the conversation to the point of like numbness. Yeah, it's almost like, boss, I don't even know if y'all know what y'all was talking about. No one told us that God was being patient. Right. They didn't mention any of that, but they just, and so because they didn't mention that God was being patient, we just thought that, oh man, the threats aren't real. Problem is, because we thought the threats weren't real, Satan used that to have us think that God's not real. And they didn't give us the proper picture. Right. You know, they didn't give us the rest of the story. I don't know why not, right? I don't know why the conversation stopped at like, put all your contraband in this bucket. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why they didn't just then start telling us about the rest of the stuff, but they didn't. So it's like I witnessed you say these things, but then I also saw,
it's like threats, like
boom. Also saw the kids who didn't put their stuff in, and they didn't die that night, right? And so, it's like I'm not trying to question God. I ain't trying to question God, but I am trying to figure out what's happening here. That's right. Well, you let that slide over 20 years, and now you will naturally have built in this lack of sensitivity. It's almost like if your mom never comes off that back wall. Right. Like, but the day she comes off that back wall, it slaps the fire out of you in front of the whole class, like everything will change. You know what I'm saying? But God's patient for our sake. So he's a slap fire from the back of the wall. Like, we read the story of King Uzziah on Sunday to show like, you see how rapid this was? Like the priest was there, like, yo, boss, you should really chill out. He didn't want to chill out. God was like, leprosy. Like it's not a I love what my dad used to say, like, if God was to get you, like, you'll be God. Right. But man, because he's patient for our sake, let's live a life. That's good. That's pleasing and acceptable, right? But let's realize that it's not a weight that we carry. It's a power that we decide to finally like allow to guide us. But yeah,
that's good. That's good. Thank you for that. Good. And today is Thursday, right? I'm just wondering if this recording, if it's Thursday, so I can say today is a good Tuesday. I don't know.
It's on you, boss.
Today's a good day. It's a good day all day. It's a good day. Today's a good day. We hope that as you go through this day, you go through it knowing that God loves you. We do too. Keep attending and keep being most blessed.